Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yes, it's us again. It's our second show. Welcome back to Ringside Chat. I am your host, Dirt. My Ed McMahon to my left is Stonewall, Big Daddy Cool Stonewall, for you ladies out there. And our host coming back from Chicago, who took on a TNA superstar, the Mississippi Madman himself.
Yes, and it's my house, too.
Whose house, Stonewall?
Whose house? My house. Yeah. Whose house? My house.
So, tell us about your little trip to Chicago.
Yes, for people that don't know, I had an X Division title match against TNA superstar Alex Shelley and another guy named Jason Dukes, which I almost won, but I got outside interference by the Redneck J Rain. So I almost became the X Division champion. So those guys better look out, because after I get done with the Redneck J Rain, I'm coming after the X Division belt.
Well, tell us a little about the X Division, really. It's something new, isn't it? It's like, it's not light heavyweight, it's not super heavyweight, it's not tag team, I think, is it? No. No?
Well, what they told me, because they said, well, Madman, you're eligible for the X Division title. And I thought, wait a minute, ain't it those guys that flips and the cruiserweights and the small guys? And they said, well, they want to move away from that, because X Division is not a light heavyweight belt. It is a belt with no limits, and that's their slogan. So therefore, all sizes, all comers, because Samoa Joe sort of set the bar up high, being 290 pounds and the X Division champion. So they said they want to let it known that anybody, no matter how big or how small you are, can win this belt. And so when they said I can win it, so I went after it. But, you know, outside interference cost me the title, so I'm guaranteed I will get that belt back. Mark my words.
Of course, the X Division is a parent company of Total Nonstop Action and NWA, I believe, right?
Yes, that's right.
National Wrestling Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
One of the oldest organizations in America, almost like the WWE, but, you know.
I think the NWA is a lot older. I think it's almost over 100 years old. I mean, I was told that the NWA goes back to the early 1900s.
Gotch. Ed Strangler Lewis.
Oh, yes. Some of the greats of all time.
Lou Thez, the man who...
Lou Thez.
God rest his soul. By the way, St. Louis native.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
very good wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Of course, if you guys watched the NWA, excuse me, not the NWA, AWA DVD that WWE put out this past Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, NWA had fallout with Vern Gagne, and he started his own company.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about that, yeah.
Yeah. Vern Gagne is a real true legend, you know. AWA out of Minnesota actually created some of the big stars today, you know.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I mean, if you're not in professional wrestling and not know about the history of AWA, then I don't know where you're from. I mean, everybody got to know that's where Hulk Hogan got his start at. And, you know, there's a lot of greats like Kurt Hennig, just to name a few. I mean, the Patriot, you know, there's a ton of top-notch stars. Even Harley Race graced AWA once, too.
Yeah. Of course, watching that DVD, they also have Nick Bockwinkel, Vern Gagne, who was the owner and 10-time AWA champion. Yeah. So him and Backlund actually had a couple of feuds going in the mid-'80s, late '70s.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Jerry Lawler also was in AWA once?
Well,
I believe he was.
Jerry Lawler had has his promotion down in Memphis, the CWA, I believe, at the time. Of course, Jerry Lawler, infamous with the Andy Kaufman situation in 1982.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, there's some bootlegs on the internet, YouTube.com. Which, by the way, Memphis also area where Hulk Hogan faced Jerry Lawler in the Memphis Coliseum.
Oh,
but
yeah.
here's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Hulk Hogan has never beaten Jerry Lawler.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't even know they even went up against each other. That's something I learned today.
Wow. You learn something new every day, especially here on Access 4 here in Springfield. Get right on with our subjects today. We're going to talk about a little bit of the wrestling promotions, past and present. Today, besides the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, what other wrestling company would you pay your hard-earned money to go see?
Is it today or in the past?
Today or yesteryear.
Because I remember one of my favorites of all time, World Class Championship Wrestling, back in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember going when they came to the Kill Auditorium in St. Louis, Missouri,
Yeah.
around about 1983, when I got to see the Macho Man Randy Savage for the first time, and King Kong Brody and Iceman King Parsons, and of course the Von Erich brothers. You know, I mean, I would love to pay to see that talent right now, but today I think there's a ton of independent and, you know, televised wrestling that are out there that are really good besides the WWE. Of course, there's TNA. And, of course, there's, like, tons of independent shows like one, New Midwest Wrestling. You know, in Iowa, there's SLW and SCW and No Limits.
Of course, Stonewall.
Well, I really don't have. Well, yeah, there is something. I noticed, Madman, whenever, no matter what wrestling federation that you're in, we've been friends for, I don't know how long. I've been coming to the New Midwest shows where I first met you.
I think almost like 3.5 years now.
You was a heel at one time.
Mm-hmm.
We both got in each other's faces.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that very well.
But my question is for you is what I don't understand is every time you have a title shot, they always have to jump you.
Well, it's just the history of the fact is that I'm so dominant in the ring and intimidating with my character, of course, is that they know that a lot of people can't beat me straight up. And if I get a title, I'm going to keep it for a long time. Just like I'm one half of the SCW Tag Champions up in Iowa, and we held that belt for, I think, almost a year now. So whatever belt I get a hold of, I'm going to keep. And I guess a lot of wrestlers feel threatened with me up there going after that belt, and they know that it's going to be mighty hard to take that belt away from me, especially when it's fans like you and like all the people where I go that chance that whose house and at my house to get me all fired up and more.
Basically, that's your hulking up.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, and another thing what you never, never want to do is talk about Mad Mama.
Oh, no, you don't.
Because Man will get very, very upset when you talk about Mad Mama.
Actually, I saw something on Yahoo going through the images. If you type New Midwest, go to images, there's something vaguely something about Mad Mama from one of the other wrestlers on from New Midwest. Must be really, really old, really, a couple years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like on a billboard sign on like some country road,
Well, I think I saw that.
Oh, was it anything bad? Because, nobody don't talk about Mad Mama.
I hate to say it, yes, actually, it was kind of insulting.
Let me find out who did it, and they know why. Just ask LPC, because he still ain't right yet. When you talk about Mad Mama, you're going to find out why you don't make a madman matter.
Actually, that was the 3 letters that was on that billboard.
Something very not right to say on the air.
Yeah.
I thought he might have learned his lesson after that first blood match when I bust his head open. People just don't learn.
Of course, you can take that up with New West owners with that owner, whatever. Yeah.
And I just recently tagged up with the guy, and he said he was over with that too. So.
Of course, this image is it's got to be really old.
Okay.
So.
So that's probably.
You may not want to bust his cranium open right now.
Okay.
Not too bad. Don't hurt him too bad.
Yeah.
If it's old, then I only put him in the hospital for a week.
That'll work, or maybe not longer.
Yeah, maybe 3 days. Yeah, 3
Make
days.
him think of what he done. Talk about Mad Mama.
Yeah, because it slipped through the cracks when I didn't see it. So, that's how the way I do.
Okay. Okay. One of my next question is, what's the best independent company that you have seen right now?
Wow, New Midwest is good. I love New Midwest with all my heart. But NWA Midwest up in Chicago is because of the TNA superstars that come through the Chicago show, like Abyss, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. As good as New Midwest is down here in Springfield, it's hard to compete when you got AJ Styles versus Chris Sabin on a card. And, with, of course, the Mississippi Madman versus the Abyss as the main event.
Oh,
good match, ladies and gentlemen.
It's hard to compete with stuff like that, So that's, like I said, New Midwest is a close second. But NWA Midwest in Chicago is by far the best overall independent wrestling organization because they have TNA superstars that grace, and also former WWE superstars like Kamala too, who I recently tagged up with.
Kamala also wrestled in ECW and WCW. And Stonewall, do you have a opinion on that?
Yeah, you was talking about Wrestling Federation in Chicago. Is that like a house show for TNA wrestlers to go to?
From what
like a training type?
Yeah, from what I understand, because TNA really don't have a house show right now, so they use that because they got like certain superstars that are signed to certain parts of the country. So all of the guys that are like living in the Midwest area are doing the Chicago shows. So like Abyss and Samoa Joe are from the Midwest. So those guys are going to do a lot of Midwest shows. So they do shows up there in Chicago a lot.
Plus, so, I'm willing to drive. Are you willing to drive to go see him face Abyss again?
I've talked to Madman several times, many a times. Matter of fact, I believe it was just a couple of days ago. I talked to him on MySpace. He's a very nice guy to meet. Matter of fact, like my wife always tells me, he's a big teddy bear. But my other question for you, Madman, is what did you think or thought when they told you had to go against
the monster,
a superstar, Abyss?
Well, coming from like down here, because this is where I got started at New Midwest in Springfield, Illinois. When they told me like the Abyss made a challenge to me that there's nobody out of Central Illinois that can be able to stand up against one of the biggest and baddest TNA superstars. And they said, Madman, can you accept that challenge? I was like, but of course I can, because I'm not afraid of nobody. Like, if you know my theme song, you know that Bone Crusher's my theme song is never scared. So I'm not scared of anybody. It don't make no difference if it's the Abyss, Samoa Joe, The Undertaker, Big Show, who cares? I will take them on, and I will represent Central Illinois Wrestling, and I have, and Abyss knows that I took him on twice, and he knows that both times, although he may have got the upper hand on me at the end, but I took him to the brink farther than Sting, Christian Cage, or anybody in TNA has took him to, and he knows that he's going to hesitate to get in the ring with the Madman again.
Actually, one of the main wrestling top independent promotions I want to go see is either Ring of Honor which does shows out of Chicago, Detroit area, and Combat Zone Wrestling, which does Philadelphia and New Jersey, because I really want to see a barbed wire match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I want to actually see ultra-violent stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been to a couple of Ring of Honor shows in the back. So, I mean, when I saw them, I mean, because I seen it, but just before CM Punk signed with the WWE, I seen one of the greatest Iron Man matches in Ring of Honor history was CM Punk taking on Samoa Joe in an Iron Man match. They went 1 hour, and they only had 3 pins apiece. Samoa Joe won the match, but they was bloodied. They fought all over the arena. I mean, it was one of the classic matches that I saw live. That is, I mean, to this day, that I'm blown out of the water. It's one of their best matches of all time.
Wow. Looks like Ring of Honor has it's nipping up the heels in the wrestling world lately.
I think if Ring of Honor gets a TV title gig or, you know, TV thing, I don't think it will be, I think it will lose its luster. I think Ring of Honor is better underground and live. Like, they sell the DVDs because there's like a purity. It's like when you see it live, you don't want to be tainted by TV, you know, especially like with what's going on with ECW and stuff like that. I mean, it's almost frightening to see it because it'll get watered down. I mean, right now they got a bunch of great guys that are in there, and I would hate to see it on TV, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who needs to see Ring of Honor too. So,
of course, I'm going to have to put this out again. Check out YouTube. Also, they're on YouTube. They also have a youtube.com/Ring of Honor, I believe. Great stuff. You know, 10 minutes worth of your time on your lunch break. So you may want to check that out. Now, this is kind of your opinion on your guys's. If you were running the WWE, who would you choose as your champion at either brand, really?
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Who I would pick to be the WWE champion? Well, of course, me. But of all time, or
Right
the wrestlers that's
Right now.
in WWE right now? I have to go with Cena.
Of course,
John
it's
Cena.
right there.
You know who I would pick? Wow, that's a tough one. You know what? I would have to go with an old school, but he's still good in the new school. I would have to go with Shawn Michaels. I think his heart and his charisma, especially when Triple H got hurt, and he just took over and saved that match because Triple H was so stubborn that he didn't want to lead that match, but he couldn't walk. And you can just see Shawn Michaels just took control of that situation. And just this past Monday on Raw, I, as not in a long time, have ever been excited about a main event. Shawn Michaels against Edge and Randy Orton was actually a good main event from the passion from Shawn Michaels presented in that match. I mean, I don't see that in Batista or Cena, but I see it in Shawn Michaels, so I will pick Shawn Michaels.
My pick, I'm probably a minority of this, but I have to put this belt back on the Rated R Superstar.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. He was really good.
I think Edge has really come out of his shell, becoming out of a low card, mid card back in '98 when he debuted with the Brood, with Christian Cage, and now he's come to his own with being the Rated R Superstar now, multi-time tag team champion. Yeah. And yeah, because I guess he had an identity crisis for a minute where he didn't know what he wanted to be, whether he wanted to be a crowd pleaser, and he just said, forget it, I'm just going to go ahead and be the Rated R Superstar. And by far, I think that what made him exciting. I like looking at him. Yeah, I do too. He is, as you guys term in the wrestling business, a heel. Which, by the way, we may cover that subject here in a little bit if we have time. Now, MTV has this new show coming up on the see, I believe it's next week or so, 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Wrestling Society X, which is going to air the second half of ECW show.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to put some competition on you. Are you guys willing to watch? Because they're actually putting some new blood into the sport, having guys from the Pro Guerrilla Wrestling Federation in Southern California and Combat Zone on the show. Plus, there has some music during the matches. So, are you guys willing to watch? Try out?
You know what? I was actually approached by them guys to be a part of that show.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. We just learned something new today.
Yeah.
Another thing we learned.
I was approached by them to do the show, but knowing my NWA commitments, I couldn't do it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the offer has been over. They told me to observe the show and watch it to see if I'm interested in doing it. So they're very interested in getting me on that show too.
Stonewall?
I would have to say I probably would watch it. Just to check it out, just see if it is interesting to watch. But of course, your good old madman right here, if he's gonna be on it, I'm gonna be watching it.
Of course, I don't want to spoil anything. Later in the season, they may have a exploding ring match, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I do not recommend anybody doing. Okay.
No.
Leave it up to the professionals.
Yeah, I would not recommend anybody. Leave it up to the TV professionals. Don't, anybody in these other federations that are out here now, don't get no ideas about that because they got to take a lot of precaution in doing a match like that.
And Backyard Wrestlers, we're watching you. Don't think we're watching you.
We see you.
Yeah.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And also they're going to have a hardcore match with a tank of piranhas in it, supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah, but they told me about some of their ideas that they're going to have, and it's very interesting, and that's why I'm going to watch to see if I'm interested in ever doing something like that, truthfully.
Because you're not going to put your body on the line for mutilation and like a barbed wire match unless they're going to put up big money, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Because let's face it. Everyone knows I have been wrestling like top-notch TV talent, and I have been approached by TNA and stuff too. So I'm in a position where I don't have to do that crazy stuff. So you never know. If it's too crazy and insane, I probably won't do it because I like what I do, and I don't want it to get cut short like Mick Foley or all the other guys who are in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
They can barely move.
Or in your career at an early age.
Right.
Of course, the guys, the founder of this, also did Extreme Pro Wrestling, XPW. I don't know, you guys seen it? I've seen it. I got a couple of DVDs at home.
I haven't.
I've seen XPW. Yep.
Yeah, it's XPW ran by Rob Black and those. We probably covered that in another day. I just want to go through these questions with you guys real quick. May want to. We covered a heel earlier. What is a heel?
A heel is a person who gets under the crowd's skin that people come to see, believe it or not, come to see to hate, to want to throw things, to want to see their butt getting kicked.
Okay. And my second question is, what is a ring rat?
I don't know if I can say that on air.
It's basically a wrestling groupie, right?
Basically, yeah, that's the cleanest way you can say it. But the guys in the locker room have their own way of saying it.
Okay. Okay, we're about out of time, but we got one quick email. Of course, you can go any questions, wrestlingrsc@yahoo.com. Stu from Southern View, which is here in Illinois. Where do you guys get your belts? Of course, we got ours. All these are from our buddy Will's. Of course, you can get them on WWE.com or personal favorite, hotspots.com.
They have all kinds of belts there. Any belt
Madman,
you can think of.
Madman, you want to give out your MySpace real quick?
Yeah, you can catch me on a couple of things. I have, of course, MySpace / MississippiMadman.com, and I also have my own website. It's Mississippi madman.co.nr/.
Of course, you can check us out on MySpace, Stonewalled 1966, and also my MySpace, Dirt Nation LXIX. Okay, we're about out of time. Once again, visit our any questions you want us to answer, just go to WrestlingRSC@yahoo.com. For the Mississippi Madman, my tag team partner, Stonewalled. I'm the Heart Dirt Kid. Dirt. Bye-bye, Springfield.
And remember, this is my house.
Whose house?
My house.
Whose house?
My house.
Whose house?
My house. Yeah.